The second one, reading passage 2, is called Collecting as a Hobby. Let's look at our questions. It's actually very similar to the previous reading, the cork reading. There are some fill in the gaps and then some true false not given. So of course we're going to start with the fill in the gaps. Immediately find your keywords that you will scan for. We want to find where all of these are. So let's look at our keywords. That is probably the most important word there. Collecting is the everywhere. Example can be everywhere. So money is our keyword, our scanning word. Perhaps feeling, definitely buying and selling, maybe items. Items, they can paraphrase easily. Items can be things or products or anything. Clubs, opportunities, maybe. Share, maybe. Let's stick with clubs. I see clubs here again, so clubs is a very good one to scan for. Similar interests, yeah. Number 18, nothing very strong to scan for, probably lifelong. So let's see if we can find that. Number 19, again, nothing very strong to scan for. There is life. We're looking for the nouns. Maybe completely, a paraphrase of completely might be possible. Number 20, stamp collecting. You're not going to scan for collecting because collecting is everywhere, but this is collecting stamps. And then definitely different countries. That's the strong scanning word there. 21, male. Something about men or boys or males. All right. So first step done. Let's go and find where these are. So we're looking for money. Maybe it's a good idea to look for money, feeling, buying, selling, clubs. Look for the first four all at the same time. Now what they've done here is that they've done exactly the same thing as in the previous reading. They've put money there, but money is there again. Do you remember with our previous reading called cork, we were looking for bark for question 1, and they put it there as well as there. So they've done this twice now. It's a common way to try and confuse you. Students will search for the answer here, but meanwhile the answer is here. Similarly, students will see money, they will search for the answer here, but meanwhile the answer is here. What are we looking for? Feeling, buying and selling, clubs, clubs. Scan, scan, scan. I see buying and selling. Anything about feeling? Can you see the word for feeling? That's that word over there. I'll talk about that word soon. There's selling again. Now we want clubs. Clubs, lifelong, life completely. So we can find club over there. Quite an important one because they mention it twice in these questions. All right, so we have lifelong and life and completely. Before we do that, similar interests, like-minded is something about similar. You know that similar and like are synonyms, so that's there. So we're looking for something about life and something about completely. I see life down there. Item is there, that's quite interesting. Didn't we want item, special item, particular item? Maybe. It's dangerous though because they can paraphrase that. We want life twice. See lives again over there. This is quite a complicated paragraph. So we have life and life. Right, okay. Stamps, countries and mail. Stamps is there. Countries is there. Mail, something about mail. And there is mail. Alright, so we immediately see these questions come from these paragraphs. Stop over here. That'll be the last one. Probably true, false, not given will start over here. But let's go and do our next step, which is just decide if we want nouns, verbs or adjectives, singles or plurals. We can get a lot of information from the grammar. Collecting, what do you collect? You collect something. So we want a noun there. A feeling of, after this preposition, you have a noun. Noun after preposition. To share, provide, opportunity to share, again, noun. They offer a thing, something. A lifelong, there is a There is an adjective, again, noun. So a lot of nouns, that's quite common. Completely. This is an adverb. Remember in Cork, we had an adverb there. After the adverb, can you remember? It's a verb or an adjective. So here again, adverb. So we're looking for a verb or adjective. Stamp collecting may be. Remember, again, same as the last one. Adjective after the verb to be. Adjective after to be. Remember, we had are and are, and we wanted two adjectives over here. So we know that this is an adjective. Something tends to be mostly a male hobby. This is the verb, so this is the subject of the sentence. It must be a noun. Right, so we're looking for mainly nouns. This helps us a little bit, these two, 19 and 20. Right, let's go and start with number 14. The writer mentions collecting something as an example of collecting in order to make money. What is an example? Once again, they've started with a difficult one. I'm looking over here, but I don't see it. And I'm looking for some language that says example. It's advanced English. In fact, this means example. It's quite informal. So instead of saying, for example, we can say the word say. So actually, that was a good scanning word. So what is the example that he mentions? For example, and there is your answer. Antiques. That they can buy cheaply and expect to be able to sell at a profit. This was your target sentence. So please notice they made this very difficult because our keyword was not in our target sentence. They can do it. So always check the previous sentence and the next sentence when you're looking for your answer. The key to finding this answer was this, for example. You needed to know that say can mean for example. So yes, they started with a difficult one. Buying and selling. Buying and selling is there. We're looking for a feeling of. If you know that the word sense means feeling, then this is an easy one. It's the exact same structure. A feeling of something, a sense of triumph. So even if you don't know what that word means, you can just see from the structure that is your answer. Clubs provide opportunities to share. We want to see where these are. We know where the clubs word is. Provide opportunities to share. Can you see anything about opportunities or share? I don't see opportunities, but I do see a synonym for share. Can you see it? It's that there. So what do they share? They share information. So that was a vocabulary one. You needed to know that share and exchange are synonyms. I will say 1,000 times, if you want to do well in the reading, you need to learn a lot of academic vocabulary. Right, number 17. They offer something with people who have similar interests. So we're looking for people and similar interests. The clubs offer, there's people, like-minded people. This whole phrase, like-minded people, is the same. It's a paraphrase of this whole phrase over there. People with similar interests, people who have similar interests is like-minded people. Notice that small word over there. Often these small words on either side of the answer will help you. There is a with there and there is a with there. So what do they offer? There is your answer. Contact with like-minded people. Contact with people who have similar interests. So notice that actually has the same structure as that. Right, number 18. Collecting sometimes involves lifelong special item. We know that we're looking for a noun. We know that we're looking for a singular noun. We've got life over here. We've got lives over there. Can you find anything about sometimes? This is actually a nice clue. Can you find anything about sometimes? And that will help you. The sometimes is actually there. May. They might, they may. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So where is our noun? This little word helps us over here. And it's quite simple. If you know that you're looking for a singular noun, there are not many singular nouns over there. It's there or it's there. But that word sometimes really helped a lot to say it's this sentence. So your answer is hunt. Right, number 19. Life completely, and now we want a verb or an adjective. They want to feel that their life is prevent. Often means not. They want to not feel that their life is completely. There is feel, there is life, and there is our adjective. This is the not or the prevent. To prevent their life from feeling aimless. So the fact that we were looking for an adjective or a verb really helped us here. Feel aimless, feel their life is completely aimless. Number 20, stamp collecting may be. Again, we're looking for an adjective because it provides facts about different countries. Stamps and countries, we know where that is. Now we're just looking for an adjective somewhere around here. That's an adjective. That's an adjective. This sentence is just explaining the previous sentence. So it's either potential or educational. Stamp collecting may be potential, that doesn't make sense. Stamp collecting may be educational because it provides facts about different countries, that makes sense. So we're going to go with that adjective there, educational. Finally, 21, something tends to be mostly a male hobby. We're looking for a noun, subject of the sentence. Where are the nouns in this? Extent, collecting, they won't choose collecting. Among boys and men was train spotting. That's train spotting tends to be mostly a male hobby. Okay, so there are your answers. Before we go on to the true, false, not given, though, I want to speak about this passage a little bit, just to notice a little bit about structure and about what the topics of the paragraphs are and that sort of thing. Firstly, just please notice this was a very important part of the whole passage. This gives you the theme for the next few paragraphs. So you know from this that the next few paragraphs are going to be about why they do it, and the writer will give a list of reasons why they do it. Let's see if we can find all of those reasons. The first one is money. The second one, there's some linking language there, but however, there's an also or a to there, a psychological element. That's our second reason. Why do they do it? 1, money. 2, psychological element, to develop their social life. The third reason, linking language. Another, desire to find something special is the fourth reason. Give them a purpose in life. It's part of the same reason. There's another potential reason, is educational value. Then here they start on a new topic. In the past and nowadays, they start talking about different kinds of collecting, different hobbies. Train spotting, dolls, stamp collecting. So this part here is a break between the two. This first part, the first half of this passage is why do they do it? And they gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons. So it would have been helpful to you to just look at that question. We will see throughout this course, questions can be very important because the writer asks the question to tell you what is important, what is the important information. And that is what I want you to learn in this course, is to find the important information and don't look at the unimportant information. One last thing I want to do here is just look at the linking language. The linking language is super important. It helps you to find important information because it helps you with structure. There is linking language. However and but are always important. To and also are important. Here is another one, another motive. So he tells you we're moving on to the next reason. And there is a last bit of linking language, another potential reason. So this linking language told you where the important structural elements were. All right, let's move on to the true, false, not given. Okay, let's look at these true, false, not given. So immediately we're going to dive straight in. Key words. Dolls. Can you see any names? Can you see any numbers? No. European might be easier to scan for because of that E. Centuries is a nice thing to scan for because centuries is 100 years and they can't paraphrase it much more. 16th century, another great thing because it's a number. Wax, a good noun, and porcelain, a good noun. Arranging a stamp collection, I don't see anything wonderful. Okay, stamp should be there, it's good. Stamp collection. Size, another good noun. Maybe methods, but be careful, they can paraphrase methods. They can paraphrase size. Unusual is a good adjective to scan for. Unusual is there again. Maybe let's go unusual objects. I don't like objects because they can paraphrase that. Feeling again, unlikely to inspire. Nothing really strong. Let's try feeling just because it's a noun. This unlikely, it's a good thing to be aware of because it's a negative. So we will be looking for a not or a however or a something that makes it negative. But we don't really want to scan for it because they can paraphrase it very easily. Great, let's go and look. Now they can start at the beginning again, but they will probably start somewhere here because remember this was our last answer for number 21. So I would start scanning over here. What are we looking for? Dolls, century, 16th century. There's dolls again. Wax, porcelain. And it's quite easy to find. There's nothing over here, but there is dolls. So now we know where the true false not given starts. That's great. We know that that is there. There is wax. There is porcelain. Centuries again. Right, what else do we need? Stamp, size, methods, unusual objects. There is our stamp. I'm looking for size and methods, but I can't see it. Remember, some of these are not given. If the word's not there, I can already guess that that answer is probably not given because there's nothing here about size. And 25, something about unusual objects. There's a someone and there's a he or she. They repeat that, something about a person. There is a someone, which is pretty nice. We want unusual. There, unexpected is pretty good, unexpected. All right, that looks like quite a difficult one, but let's move on. 26, something about a feeling. Again, nothing strong here to scan for because they can paraphrase all of this, same as 25. I'm guessing 25 and 26 are going to be slightly more difficult. But let's look for feeling. Unlikely, inspire. There's that word again for feeling. I don't really see inspire or unlikely, so let's skip that for now. These two are probably more difficult. Right, let's go back and start. The number of people buying dolls has grown over the centuries. What is your circle word? What are they going to test? I'm guessing it's this. Has it grown? Has it decreased? Or don't we know? So I would put a circle around that. Next, what would they test over here? Possibly this. Usually, normally, made of. What were they made of? I don't see anything very clear that they can test here. If I'm guessing, I would say maybe it was made of something else. What were they made of? If I were to guess, I think they would change this. What were these dolls made of? Were they made of wax and porcelain, or were they made of something else? But I'm not going to circle that because I'm not very sure. 24, arranging a stamp collection by the size is less common than other methods. That's what I would circle. Is it less common or is it more common? You will see with so many of these true, false, not givens, this is the question that you must answer. Up or down, positive or negative, grow or shrink, less common or more common. Someone who collects unusual objects may want others to think he or she is also unusual. I can't really see anything there. Collecting gives a feeling that other hobbies are unlikely to inspire. Probably that. Are they likely or are they unlikely to inspire it? So these aren't very easy, these true, false, not givens. The number of people who buy dolls has grown over the centuries, has increased over the centuries. People who collect dolls, that's grown, but that's not the number of people. That's the collection, how many dolls they have. That's not about the number of people. I think they're trying to trick you there. Enlarging and grown are the same, but we're not talking about the number of people. I'm looking for the number of people. How many people collect dolls? And I can't see anything about that. I think that's what they were trying to do with this grown. They tried to trick us. But we're too clever for that. So there's nothing here about how many people collect dolls. So that must be not given. Right, next. 16th century, dolls were normally made of wax and porcelain. I'm interested in that word normally. These, what is these? You need to know, you need to be able to work with these words. This, that, these, those. What is these? These refers to materials. The materials, so let's just put that in. The materials have changed over the centuries from the wood that was standard in 16th century through to the wax and porcelain of later centuries. That's the word for normally, standard. So, what was standard in the 16th century? In the 16th century, wood was standard. But this says that in the 16th century, standard was wax and porcelain. They even reinforce it. They say wax and porcelain was in later centuries, 17th century, 18th century. So wood was standard in the 16th century, not wax and porcelain. Therefore, this must be false. Right, arranging a stamp collection by size is less common than other methods. I already know this answer because here they're talking about how they can... There's a range there to help us out. They arrange their stamps in albums neatly according to certain principles. This word's quite important here. In the question it says by size. In the text it says by country or by what they depict. This just means show. This says by size. There's nothing here about by size. They're talking about by country or by what they show. So therefore, this, as I suspected, is not given. 25. I'm nervous about these two. I think they're going to be difficult. We haven't had anything that's really difficult out of all of these. So I'm getting ready for 1 or 2 band 8, band 9 questions. Someone who collects unusual objects may, notice the may, important, may want others to think he or she is also unusual. One reason for someone to collect is to show their individualism. Okay, it wasn't too bad. Individualism means that you are unusual. You are unique. There's nobody like you. There's nothing there about may, but this is close enough. Someone who decides to collect unexpected. There we go. There it is. There's the may. May be conveying, this just means sending their belief that they must be interesting themselves. So someone, that was in our question, who collects something unexpected, synonym for unusual, may be saying that they are unusual. Someone who collects unusual objects may be saying, want others to think he is unusual. Not too bad. Please notice these modal verbs. Students just ignore them, but they are so powerful and help you so much. May, must, might, all of those. Could, would, should. Collecting gives a feeling that other hobbies are unlikely to inspire. Oh, sorry, this is a mistake. That was true. Collecting gives a feeling that other hobbies are unlikely to inspire. There's other hobbies, more than other hobbies, collecting and give a strong sense, remember sense and feeling of personal fulfillment. So more than other hobbies, collecting gives this feeling. That means other hobbies give that feeling less. That means they are unlikely to inspire. So therefore that must be true. Collecting gives more of a feeling than the other hobbies. A difficult one to end. Okay, not too bad. I think you can get 3, maybe 4 out of 5 there. And these were all very gettable. It's not, for a reading passage 2, it wasn't too difficult.